Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great one. Welcome back. Raddad Cooks here. Today I'm going to be showing you my world famous top secret pancake recipe to get these crispy outsides and birthday cake like insides. Let's go. Let's get our secret ingredients ready. It's only a few things. Alright, spoiler alert. I use a mix and all you do is add water. This is the best mix right here. This Krusteaz buttermilk pancake mix. You can pick it up at Costco, and it is the best mix that I have ever used. And all you have to do is add water. But there is a few little tricks that I've learned along the way to get these puppies dialed in. I followed the directions exactly as they are in the package. But one thing you want to do is make sure that you're measuring correctly. You want to use a dry measuring cup and tap it to settle that cup in, and then scrape it with a knife. So that way we can get as precise as possible. This is kind of like bacon, and bacon is more precise than sauteing or grilling. Using a liquid measuring cup to measure the liquid, we get just the amount as specified, and we're gonna add it to our bowl. Now when it comes to mixing, I like using a silicone spatula, okay? This nice flat spatula is gonna be the best for us to push up and down to get those lumps broken up so they can absorb the liquid, and gently stir that batter. We don't wanna go whipping this thing like Jeezy on the stove, because if we whip it too hard, we're gonna cause glutens to form in it, much like how we would want if we were making a pizza dough for a crispy crust, but that's not gonna get us our light, fluffy cakes like we are after. Go ahead and mix it up for about 20 seconds, very gently, and then we're gonna set it aside. In the meantime, we're gonna go over to our stove. We're gonna preheat our oven to 225 degrees. That way, as we're cooking our cakes and they come up, we can stick them in the oven to keep them warm until we get them all cooked and we're ready to go. Now for your skillet, you want to use a lodge style thick cast iron skillet. This is going to maintain its heat a lot better than a thin aluminum pan. If you have an electronic skillet, that'll work just fine. We actually had one of those, but I got rid of it because until Lauren was pregnant, she really wasn't a big pancake fan, and we don't really have the extra space to be storing all kinds of gadgets. Preheat this on medium-low. We want to do this nice and slow to get that temp up. That way we can keep that pan under control. For oil, coconut oil is the best oil for making pancakes. I had this for a while, and besides making like some Thai dishes, I just haven't been a fan of that coconut flavor. But its high smoke point and its kind of sweet coconut flavor really lends well to pancakes. Also, you want to get all of your goodies aside so that way we can add them to our pancakes. We're going to add them to the pancakes as we make them instead of mixing them in the batter. That way we can create a variety of pancakes from this one batter, and it just makes a more uniform product. You can see after 5 minutes, our pancake batter is almost turned into a foam. It does have some leavening agents in there, and that's where that comes from. So we want it to rise just like that, and that's what's gonna get our pancakes nice and fluffy. With our temp gun, we verify that we're in the correct temp range. 375 is where we want it for these cakes. And we're gonna add a generous amount of oil. I do about a tablespoon or maybe even just a little bit more in my pan. This is what's gonna make them get very crispy and also prevent them from sticking to this cast iron pan. Once our coconut oil is melted, we are ready to start flipping cakes. I use a measuring cup to make sure I get nice uniform cakes. This is a half-cut measuring cup, and it makes about a 6 to 8 inch cake depending on how they fluff up that day. We're gonna cook them for about 1.5 minutes on each side. You'll see that it starts to get nice and bubbly. That's how you know you got your temperature right. Give it a flip after 1.5 minutes. We're gonna go 1.5 minutes on this side as well. Check out how golden and crispy that is. All right, after our second 1.5 minutes, we're gonna load it onto a tray and put a little tiny sliver, about an 1/8 inch thick piece of butter on there. That's gonna keep it moist while it's in the oven, waiting for all of its friends to get fried up. If you notice that your pan's getting a little hot, just take it off the burner, pour your next cake on there, give it like 10-15 seconds, and that batter will lower the temperature of the skillet back down. Then you can slide it back onto the burner and the show goes on. This cake, we're gonna make a blueberry pancake. So after you flip it, it's on the second side, give it about 15-20 seconds to start bubbling up like that, and then put your blueberries on. I like putting the blueberries on this way instead of mixing them in the batter just because they get so much more uniform. After that minute and a half, flip your pancake and finish it up on the other side. After about 2 pancakes, your pan will start to get kind of dry, so just go ahead and top it off with a little bit more oil. You're not going to need as much as you did the first time, but a little bit more to keep it nice and wet. Will keep your cakes crispy and not sticking. My favorite kind of pancake is a cheddar bacon pancake. After that 10-15 seconds on the second side, go ahead and add some diced up bacon and then some cheese. I find anything with cheddar in it works the best on this because the cheddar cheese just crisps up. It sounds like it would be a totally nasty mess, but what you're left with is this awesome crispy cheese. For the last one, we're gonna make some chocolate chip cakes. Now with the chocolate chip cakes, I wait a little bit longer after flipping it, about 45 seconds, and then I add my chocolate chip morsels. The reason I do this is that way they melt, but they stay in little pockets of chocolate. If you put them in too early, they'll melt too fast, and then you kind of end up with a mess. Now, when we get to the very end of our batter, and it's just a little bit of bowl scrapings, I splatter them all over the pan, and we call these daisy cakes. These are the little tiny pancakes made with the leftover batter. And we make a little disc, and Daisy can practice her aerobatics. When all the cakes are done, you're ready to plate up. Just pull them out of your oven as you eat them. That way they're all nice and warm, and that butter gets melted. Don't forget to serve them up with some maple syrup. You want to use real maple syrup. Don't be trying your family with that high fructose corn syrup that's colored with caramel coloring. That's BS. We like to put it in some little side dishes here. That way we can heat it up and dip our pancakes in there so we don't waste that good stuff or over syrup our cakes. Well, thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.